Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what day trading opportunities we may have today. You'll see my strategy and technical analysis, so if you're interested then stick around. Let's get started. I'm going to start here on the daily chart. Now as usual, above is EU, below is DXY. So you can see I have the previous daily highs and lows marked out and the previous weekly highs and lows now that we're in a new week as well. Same on DXY. So previous daily high, previous daily low, previous weekly high, previous weekly low, of course. Now what can we see from the daily? Now if I take a brief look at EU, of course we pulled up after taking this sell side liquidity and mitigating this daily fair value gap. And over the last 3 days, you could say, of last week, it looked like we were decelerating somewhat. We had this massive high test, closed near open, then we had a doji on Friday, which is quite normal for a Friday, of course, but nevertheless, we could see its possible deceleration at this premium area. Same with DXY. We had this massive low test into the daily order block and this fair value gap fill, and then another doji yesterday. From a daily perspective, that's what I can see. Of course, we still have this unmitigated high time frame area up here, which has been filled obviously on EU. So price may still be bullish on DXY on the high time frame overall to come up into this area. Now on the 4 hour, you can see that I've marked out this Fibonacci here just to show, I believe this to be the recent bullish leg, which came up and mitigated this order block up here before sending price back down to the discount. Currently price is consolidating, we could say. Obviously it's within the discount of this bullish leg. Price has been recently bullish with high highs, high lows, high highs. So far we are just, for the last 2 days, decelerating, and on the lower time frames such as the 4 hour and 1 hour, we are obviously consolidating slash ranging. And obviously it's the same on DXY down here, right? We've pulled back up to this premium and we're kind of ranging here. So what else on the 4 hour is there to look at? We have our 4 hour fair value gap down here that we never filled, right? If price was to turn bearish, that would be a good target area. Same on DXY, we still have that 4 hour fair value gap here, only partially filled. The trend, however, recently was bearish on DXY and bullish on EU. Now, DXY, as my note says here, in case I don't see this, there's more downside available because we did not fill this area on DXY. So ultimately DXY may be bearish for it to continue with that trend. We have the possibility of both directions on a higher time frame. However, this POI draw down here on DXY is with trend, and we could continue the trend on EU, obviously bullish, to come and take this possible weak high, because this note says here weak high if low holds. If this low area here in the discount is holding, then this becomes a weak high and it becomes our buy side liquidity target on the higher time frame. Here on the 1 hour, the consolidation slash range looks much more clear to see, because you can see the 1 hour has just been within this range. We spiked up above these highs, back down, took some liquidity, and we've not really moved. We've not continued to make higher highs or higher lows. However, again, to point out, we are in the discount. Price is possibly finding some support here. We're stuck between, this discount support, I guess, and this fair value gap that we had. Now, one thing to point out is we had some SMC divergence, which we'll see on the lower time frame. EU swept this low and DXY didn't. That indicates weakness on the DXY and strength on EU, just because it means this swept sell side liquidity, possibly for a move to go higher. Now, what I will point out is the structure here is very hard to see on EU. However, if we just look at DXY for a moment, it is a bit clearer. So I'll expand that. So DXY, as you can see, we are in this bearish leg. We've pulled up, so lower high. Then we've possibly now internally, even though we're not moving as clear as we'd want to be, we can see we've gone into this lower low, lower high, lower low, possibly a lower high again up here where we had SMC divergence, and price may want to head downwards towards the making a lower low again, and this possibly being that weak low, right? Because we have made lower highs. DXY is a bit more helpful than EU at this time with its range. Now, these aren't the best conditions to trade in. We would prefer if there's just a clear trend, right? Because trading within the range usually means price is harder to analyze and predict. So let's go down to the M15 and see what opportunities I can see for today. So on the M15, you'll notice straight away something I've drawn out. So I'll do that first. We'll approach that scenario first. Of course, we had this massive bullish move at the sort of Frankfurt Open, right? This bullish candle on the M15. Price then reached higher, and we are slowly retracing. We've left an inducement. We've got an order block here with fair value gap. And as you saw in the 1 hour, we've closed fairly bullish, that previous candle. So with that, it looks like price is possibly breaking up to the upside. As I said, DXY is kind of favoring that bearish move in terms of, you know, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower highs up here, possibly going on to make a lower low. DXY also has the M15 order block that we share with EU. The only problem I would say with that order block at this moment is that DXY isn't in sync with EU, and it looks like we've already mitigated it. And even then, when we come back and pull back towards it, we'll reach it on DXY, probably long before we reach it on EU. Sometimes that means, you know, the order block may be invalid, or we'll push deeper than we want to, right? So it may be like down here that price reverses if it does. So the good confluences that I can see is we've left relative equal highs up here. You know, equal highs tend to get swept or targeted by price action. So we've got our relative equal highs, we've got an order block with fair value gap, we've got inducement, we've got an M15, you know, breaker structure, and if it does pull back, it will look like a corrective pullback, and it will be with trend, and DXY high time frame is indicating lower lows, lower highs internally. Now we don't yet, I think the hourly is about to close. Let's go up to the hourly. We now have this fair value gap here. We've got 15 seconds left, so we could say that that's done. Now, if I put this 1 hour fair value gap here, and we go back down to the M15, it is right above our entry, which makes it high time frame POI at the entry. So that would be the sell side liquidity below this inducement, and it will be a high time frame POI. So that is in our favor as well, right? Because once that's filled, price would fill that, possibly stab into our order block, and price could then reverse and continue in that direction. So that's what I see for the most immediate opportunity. Of course, you know, there's not been any obvious sweep of a previous daily low or previous session low. However, we have our previous SMC divergence. We haven't taken the low to make a lower low. The low survived, so it makes the highs weak. So that's what I see for that opportunity. If price goes without us, or this gets invalidated, for shorts I would like to see something like this, right? If price came up here, took this high, maybe created some sort of structure, takes the high or doesn't take the high, and then breaks down, right? Then we can look for something like this to trade downwards. If price looks like it's going down after we've taken this major liquidity pool of the previous daily high, that would sponsor our move lower. So that would be good despite being against trend. The same would apply for if price for whatever reason needs to go lower. We could see price maybe make some sort of structure here as well, and we could aim higher. So at the moment, this is the only immediate scenario that I see. These would be, you know, hypothetical scenarios if we saw this structure make at these sell side or buy side liquidity highs, and then we could go from there. There is no predicting what price is going to do. I can't predict the price is going to turn here. It could take these lows, it could continue lower, and we could just get continuations, right? Because price could just continue, and we have something form here to go lower. But we'll ignore that one for now and just concentrate on the obvious pools of liquidity and this immediate opportunity. So I hope you gained value from that and you like that. Please leave a comment if you need anything explained, and remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.